And also, I just need to tell you when slides are changing. Excellent. Will do. All right. Greetings, Ansteorra, and welcome to Great Officers State of the Kingdom meeting. It begins with A, and we probably went alphabetical. So let's talk about some of our new great initiatives we have going for 2025 and take a little look back at 2024 on the accomplishments we have. So I know everyone that's been out on the Ansteorra and Facebook page has seen the lovely graphic that Honorable Lady or Boyorina Koya has made for us, which is All Arts Ansteorra. We need to acknowledge that not everybody wants to sit down and put their nose in a book and write a paper. And all arts are important. I want you to be able to feel like you are wanted and loved in our program, no matter what you want to do. So we are going to showcase for the next few weeks all of your arts that aren't strictly period, but they're SCA life important. They add to our experience, they add to our community, and they add to everything that the SCA is. So when you see that, post your arts, get your pictures ready, and we'll be going through and showcasing some of the best things that I don't have on my Kingdom A&S table, but might be in your display. So another initiative we've got this year is we are going to be combining with all of the Southern Kingdoms, Trimaris, Meridies, Glen Aubin, and ourselves, to unify our Kingdom Arts and Sciences program judging. We were all sitting around the table exhausted last Gulf Wars and realized that we were really sending a mixed message to our artists on how we were evaluating what we were doing. And many of our programs had not really been reevaluated in over a decade. So we are going to one set of judging sheets before the Four Kingdoms. We've been doing a meeting every single week since Gulf War. I think we're finally ready. We've had a bunch of workshops. I appreciate anybody who joined those because we got a lot of really great feedback. So we're going to a model that's going to be, how did they do it? What did you do? And how well did it come out? And what did you learn? We're going to have specific criteria for general areas of study. And we'll probably have 4 categories, which will be static, performance, academic studies, and culinary and beverage. The academic studies is getting broadened. So we're going to be now having a place to do science fair projects, full-on science projects. And so we can now do academic cataloging and indexing. I didn't know this was a thing, but it is definitely a thing. And it's definitely a thing we want to do. And it's cataloging all of a particular item that might be held in a museum, or all of a particular set of books, illuminations, etc. So this will have a big impact. These projects will for further research. So good things are coming in 2025, and let's talk a little bit more about the program. Next slide. All right. We have gone to a more empirical system for dealing with our arts and sciences reports. I know that a lot of times, and I probably felt this myself over the years, I send out a report and I'm not quite sure how it's adding to what the Kingdom is doing. So we are evaluating each of the groups based on criteria of activity, based on how many awards are being given in that group, how many guilds you have, what kind of neat and cool projects people are doing as groups. And we're evaluating to make sure that all of our groups are healthy. If we're under a score of 3, then we're not treating you right. We're not giving you the resources to be successful. We're not setting up the opportunities for art for you. And we have opportunities for our regionals to come in and assist you with building a stronger program. Not everyone wants to fight. Well, we might all want to fight, but we want to do other things too. So we want to make sure we have these opportunities and we build communities that are broad in keeping people enjoying the SCA. We also have scoring we've been doing for our special and cultural groups. If you don't know what these are ways for communities that are very spread out to get together, share resources, enjoy their programs together. We have dance, music, performance, historical combat and military studies, and farm, field, and forestry. I've got to commend Honorable Lady Jessamine, who has taken over and our new farm, field, and forestry, and we have about 300 members already in about maybe 6 months. So that's a very thriving community. And I think if you don't know about that, go out and hit me up, because it's a very, very busy and very, very fun place. We also have cultural groups. We have Africa, East Asian, Indigenous Western Hemisphere, Jewish and Jewish diaspora, LGBTQIA+, Middle Eastern and Islamic, and Romani studies. These are to help people who want to research outside of the European areas where the resources require some language skills, maybe books that are harder to find, and give people a way to help each other with their research. We're always looking to create new groups if there are large amounts of people who want to do something. And I'm still looking for somebody who wants to start one for South Asia and Southeast Asia, so we can pull in the last part of the world that we really don't have a formal group around. So if you know 3 people, we can get you started up in a cultural group, and trust me, it will not stay 3 people very long. Next slide. All right. We have a lot of new resources on our website, and we have a new Facebook page. There was a considerable vocal majority who said they couldn't find a lot of our signups and announcements. So we now have an ANS specific announcement page. So if you see on the Ansteorra page that we have a sign up for an Arts and Sciences event, it did not start at Ansteorra page. It started at this new page. So you can go there anytime. It's not a commentable page. It's only able to be posted on by a few people. It is purely for announcements. So if you don't want to go digging back through your last 2 weeks of Ansteorra, your messages will be here. We also have brand new local judging sheets and a frequently asked question guide for competitions, displays, and participation. Your local ANS ministers and your regionals have all been trained on this today. So get with them and they can give you all the exciting news. If you want to be an officer in our group, we have a new officer responsibility FAQ. Nobody wants to sit through and read an officious handbook, especially when we're artists. You know, I'll read a handbook, but I won't want to. So we're trying to make it a little easier to digest. If you have things that you have questions on, we can always add to this and keep an ongoing idea of what are best practices in our offices. We have updated codes, policies and codes of conduct. These are the things that govern what is in and out of scope for all of our programs and what to do if you're not sure. And again, we have expanded cultural programs. We're going to keep adding more as we need to. So I hope that you guys are excited as I am about 2025 Arts and Sciences. And I will turn it over to my next Great Officer of State.
All right, I think that's me, Chatelaine. Hi, Ansteorra. Good to see everyone today. So we had a lot of great meetings for the Chatelaine's office today, and there have been a lot of exciting things going on over the last year. We had some incredibly strong recruitment this year, and I just want to thank the teams that put together some of our demos, MedFair, Fan Expo, Comic Palooza, Sherwood, NBRF, and San Japan. They have pulled in some great numbers, and our recruitment numbers look really strong, which you'll see later. When we talked in some of our meetings today, we also talked about the idea of potentially doing some things to improve our recruitment, which we'll talk about a little bit later, or retention, which we'll talk about later. So let's just move on to the next slide. So first, changes from Hospitaller to Chatelaine. The changes to Kingdom Law were completed during the winter, and some of our website updates are still underway. The changes to email addresses will be coming after this roundtable meeting. I've discussed it with all the Chatelaines. I had as many people in one place as we could possibly get so that there's no confusion when all of their emails change over. But if you email either -Chatelaine or -Hospitaller, it should go there. Handbook edits have been completed and are soon to be submitted, and with those, we'll complete all of the remaining changes needed for going over to the title of Chatelaine once those in the website changes are done. That process was pretty easy. It's time consuming just sorting through all the various web pages and whatnot we need to update, but it hasn't been too much of a problem. We can move to the next slide. So the Kingdom Census, I talked about it in the last State of the Kingdom, and it's coming. In fact, my plan is to release it to the Kingdom after Gulf War. So what is it? What we're trying to create here is a tool that the Kingdom can use to take a look at recruitment and retention activities, to take a look at what activities are weak and strong across the Kingdom. Where are we retaining people? Where are we losing people? What are our draws and what is pushing people away? This hopefully will be a tool to help the Kingdom see where there are holes in both our recruitment policies and potentially either retention practices, culture, etc., that might help us better maintain a healthy Kingdom. It'll be a tool for all of the officers and the Crown. This won't be exclusive to the Chatelaine and will be made available to local group officers as well. This is meant to be as useful a data set as we can create once we get it collected, sanitized, etc. Without good data, though, we can't determine courses of action for our offices, for the future of the Kingdom. And so there's going to be more questions than most want to answer and less than I would like in a survey. But at the end of the day, I think we've gotten it to a reasonable length. And once we're done with edits, I'm hoping to get it down to around 60 questions or so. It should take about 10 minutes to do. Our hope is that once we get this census issued and we get it distributed around the Kingdom, it will be answered by as many people as possible, both new and established, so that we can start building a database that can help the Kingdom progress in the future. How's it going to be implemented? So the first draft is done and it's been reviewed by a large number of people across the Kingdom. I have some professionals that have agreed to do some review and editing, and the first one of those is currently looking at it. There will be a second pass after that, and then I will clean it up and get it ready for publishing, hopefully after Gulf War. It'll be published digitally and in hard copy. So there will be digital links that you can go to answer your census questions, and all of the questions are opt-in. So there's at no point going to be a question that you will encounter other than a single unique identifying question at the beginning of the census that will require you to answer it. And that first question is only to ensure that we don't have a bunch of submissions from an individual. In that vein of things, we also need to make sure that people who aren't as digitally savvy have the opportunity to answer this census. So hard copies are going to be made available at events. And I will be working with the Chatelaines of various local groups to ensure that there are events around the Kingdom for you to answer. And I'll be establishing a census deputy who will be able to take in that information, input it, and help me start creating the forms and data sets that we can use as a Kingdom to better manage things. The Chatelaines are all going to be asked to help distribute this as both regional and local. And for groups without a Chatelaine, I'll be sending information to their seneschals. I'll give them FAQs, breakdowns of the census itself, and preview copies once we get to that stage so that all of them have ample time to read through that and answer any questions you may have. If you have any additional questions after that, you're more than welcome to send an email to me at the Kingdom Chatelaine email, and I'll answer them as best I can. Moving on. So, numbers. As a recruitment and retention office, the important numbers to me are how many people are we recruiting and how well are we retaining those people. So the first set of charts you see here is just our recruitment data. So you can see some clear upticks in recruitment in the winter, the spring, and fall. The earlier ones in January and February and August, September are going to be university semesters beginning. We have a lot of shires and university groups out there, and when they recruit people, we'll see small booms. The large spike you'll see in April is due to several large-scale demos at that time. Both Sherwood and Medfair are during that moment, and they're large sources of recruitment across the kingdom. We see weaker recruitment as we move into the end of the year and a little bit weaker during the summer. Those are likely just due to the fact that, well, at the end of the year is the holiday season. We have less public-facing events, more indoor activities, people are doing their own thing. In the summer, we have drop-off in outdoor activities that give us visibility, and so that will drop our recruitment naturally. I'd also like to note that some of these numbers may be a little inflated or deflated, whether due to lack of reporting or different criteria from chatelaine to chatelaine about what they may consider a newcomer. We can sometimes see variance in these. The variance isn't that large, but it does exist. One of the things I'm working on as we work on the Chatelaine's Handbook is looking at defining how we consider a newcomer and what we consider retention of that newcomer. What are our time spans we're looking at? I'd also like to call attention to the Central region. They did a fantastic job of recruiting this year. They had extremely high numbers in recruitment. And while I know some of that is due to some different reporting criteria of some of their chatelaines, it is not enough to detract from the fact that they have done a phenomenal job. So good job to the Central region and all your recruiting efforts between your demos and your ground level recruiting activities. You've done a fantastic job. And let's move on to the next slide. Retention. So this is the area where we're weak right now, actually. So a good retention goal for an organization of our size over a one-year time span should be around 15 to 20% of our recruits, of our first-time participants. Overall, U.S. consumer interest is a little bit low right now in hobby activities, so it's to be expected that these numbers are going to be shy of any given goal. And one of our regions is hitting that goal. Central pulled in 17% retention based off their recruiting numbers, and if their recruiting numbers are a little bit high, that actually might be higher than that. Windham and Southern are both a little low for their retention numbers, although both of those regions were a little bit more variable in their reporting, and I know Windham has a lot of shires, and so they can have a lot of flux from year to year. And so I don't see that as unduly different from what I would expect. The Kingdom number looks to be right around 12%, and I'd like to get that number up in the coming year. And so we talked about that in the Chatelaine meetings, about some retention strategies, how local groups can work together to make these make landing platforms for our newcomers, and some social activities that they might be able to implement at the local level to help build community. This data is only looking at newcomer retention, so this is not looking at people we lost that might already be established members. My hope is that the Kingdom Census can give us better knowledge of established members and what is pulling them away from the SCA and not, which is difficult to attain by simple retention of newcomer data from Chatelaines. Next slide. So takeaways. Our recruitment is very high, although our retention could use some work. University groups are critical for recruitment. Those big spikes around the beginning of semesters tell me a lot of information, and most of it is that our shires and our university groups need a lot of attention, because if we lose those or if they start to flounder, then we're going to be in for a rough time on our recruitment. Ask your local shires and your collegiate groups how you can help them. I know they have demos and they're always looking for more people at them. Demos early in a semester, particularly the summer demos, are very important for them. We also need to ensure that our newcomers have secure landing platforms on arrival and that they're given good access to resources. As a result, one of the things that we talked about is the idea of a kingdom-wide newcomers academy. There seemed to be a lot of interest in this among the Shadowlanes, and so we may put together some sort of digital newcomers academy resource that we can do on a monthly or every other month basis, and then support with newcomers academies with more focused goals at the baronial and shire level. Our data is only as accurate as our reports received, however. We want to improve both the quantity and the quality of our reports so that we can get better data and we can track all of this. And I think we can move on. One more slide. I'd like to thank all of you for listening to me. I hope I didn't take up too much time with it. But we had a great year in the Shadowlands office, and I think we're in for a better one to come.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Raya, I'm the Kingdom Chronicler. I don't have a whole lot of report for you today because you see all of our reports as they come out and they're published. So thank you for listening in to this very brief update. Between our local, our regional, and our Kingdom newsletter, we published more than 160 newsletters in the last year. That's from 17 different groups, including the Kingdoms. That's an incredible number. All of those are available for you to see on the website if you go look through each different local group's website or on the SCA Inc. website for the Kingdom newsletter. We also had a research special edition posted at the end of last year. It's 136 pages of research from 8 contributors who all participated in Kingdom ANS, and their research is on display. It's fabulous. From the historian, we currently have more than 1,300 wiki pages. That's everything from event reports, personal information on gentles in the Kingdom, information about different awards. If you have more to add, she's always happy to see it. That's how our year in review has been so far. If you could hit it, Osa. Up next, we are doing another special edition headed by our Farm, Field, and Forest Deputy to the MOAS. That's going to be a special edition focused on everything that they're doing for farm, field, and forest research, as well as on the fruits of spring in general. If you have other artwork or poetry or anything you'd like to display in a springtime themed special edition. Submissions will be through the beginning of the year and publication in May. I'm seeking a new Kingdom Chronicler. If you're interested in the role, please reach out to me or submit an application. And finally, the William Black Fox Awards for Chronicler Excellence are coming up at the end of this calendar year for, not calendar year, Anno Societatis here. If you have any recommendations for chroniclers, writers or contributors or newsletters deserving of awards, please send me recommendations to my email so I can pass them along to Society Chronicler. That's what I have for you. Thank you all for your work and continue giving me good things to write about.
Okay, I'm not as fancy as everybody else. I have one slide and one slide only. We've been working on a lot of things in the Exchequer office to get everybody up to date. There's a committee going on at the society level to bring the Exchequer office into the current era of time that we're in. One thing I am working on is getting EFT available to send NMR payments and PayPal payments out to the groups. Bear with me while we do that. That is an ongoing work in progress. I did get approval from Society that you can put your bank app on your phone and you can do mobile deposits of checks now. After your term in office is over, please, whoever the next exchequer is, change the email or the password to that account so that your previous exchequer does not have access to your bank information anymore. Our new signature card request system has been working a little faster than the old one. You still submit your bank change forms to me, and I have a new Google form that I go through, and it goes straight up to society, and they see everything, and it usually takes about 3 to 4 weeks, which is better than the 6 months to 2 years that it was causing before. Your end of the year reports are due in by February 1st. North and South, I hate to tell you, but Central Region has kicked your butt, and all of Central Region has turned in their end of the year reports already. North, you're doing fairly decent. You have half your groups in. All of our warrants today were done through AMP. You should have received an email on your personal email of your warrant. And I believe that is everything that I have. Thank you, all of my exchequers, for everything that you do. I can't do this job without any of you.
Hello, Ansteorra. I am your Star Principal Herald, Sigrun Burka Sveining's daughter. I am the lead for the College of Heralds. Within the College of Heralds, which includes the College of Scribes, we have 72 offices. 16 report directly to me, 8 report directly to the Star Signet, 6 are using the No Herald option, but they are accepting applications. And we have 2 on hiatus, deciding if they can regroup and recover group status. The rest are local heralds, commentary heralds, and royal heralds who report to one of the deputies who are below me and support the College of Heralds, or who report to the Star, or who report to the Crown. We have new heralds in 19 offices that have been placed between November and today, at the end of this 4th quarter. There's a lot going on this year to move us forward in 2025 and to enrich and empower us. But let's recap a little bit on 2000. I'll go ahead and move on without the next slide, but as soon as we can get there, that'd be great. Positive actions that we took care of in 2024. The College of Scribes has risen to many challenges under the direction of Mistress Elena Witt as the Sable Scroll Pursuivant and the College of Scribes. They provided production of a complete set of award charters for the solo sovereign for the reign of Nicolette II. These new designs are easily converted, so they will also be used for future monarchs as well. But a job well done by our Sable Scribe, Mistress Elena. She did an excellent job in producing those and putting those out. We have created 4 new positions for the College of Heralds and the College of Scribes. We have a coastal regional scribe to offset and help the scribal communities in the lower areas of Ansteorra, the southern region. And no, this does not mean that Ansteorra is splitting into coastal. This just means that we are, however, using our prerogative to be able to extend a little extra help to that southern territory that is very large. And when we're talking about transporting those scrolls around and things like that, it does definitely make a difference to have somebody extra in there, and we welcome that. We created in 2023 the Golden Bridge Herald, which is the DEIB Herald, and this is to ensure and empower our heralds to reach the populace in the best ways to help, and so that everyone feels included. Duke Mahadi is the one who was the premier for that, and he did such a great job. He succeeded in creating that in a way that we will be continuing that forward. We do have somebody else to take that position as well. She'll be taking over February 2nd, excuse me, when she returns from China. North and South recruitment and retention heralds. We created these two positions. We will be building and organizing these offices to best support our heralds at large, and our demo teams. These will be reaching out to recruit people of our populace, both new and people who have played for a while, into the heraldry realms, and to see how we can better retain, support, and empower our heralds to be the best that they can be in everything that they do, and thus build a stronger College of Heralds and Scribes. We had some excellent events in 2024. We had Heraldic Boot Camp and Retreat. This is a university-style training retreat created by Herald Extraordinaire Iva Blackhawk. He is the Resolute Herald, and it's based on his book, the unofficial Ansteorra Local Herald's Training and Resource Textbook. The attendance was 49, which is amazing. This is a no-garb event, and it focuses on next-level training areas of the College of Heralds and Scribes. We do have bids open for this event as well, and we will be accepting bids until about the 15th of April. Hopefully, we will get somebody to step up and want to steward that for us. We've had them up north, and we've had them in central. Well, Bringalot is southern, but it's actually kind of central in Texas. So it would be nice to see one down in the south. If you feel interested in stewarding that event, please contact the College of Heralds and let us know. We had the Ansteorran Heraldic and Scribal Symposium. This is a kingdom event in 2024, and it was hosted by Bringalot, and this was a huge success. We had record attendance with 82. We had over 30 classes with 22 teachers. We had populace-related classes that were directly heraldry focused. Things like we had a do-it-yourself making parchments from sheepskin, like we took a sheepskin and made parchment. And then in another class, we learned how to create that, to produce that skin to a level that it could be painted on and calligraphied on, which is a whole nother process. We did a fiber arts on how to weave an inkle loom, how to start it, and how to weave a belt on it, and turn that into how you can make insignia for the different things that the crown needs to give awards out. We also had how to be a list coordinator and how to be a herald to work with that list coordinator on the field. So we had a very good time. We had a lot of good things going on in 2024, and we hope to continue that. Next slide, please. In some of the other positive actions in 2024, we have created metric systems to track the happenings of the College of Heralds and Scribes. And this will help us maintain the health of the college, where we will be able to see things directly and intuitively to see if we have items that need to be focused on. I have a lot more than these, but these are just some of them. We have submissions paid. We implemented PayPal in early 2023, and it's had a very positive effect on the amount of submissions made per year. And you can see that in that first slide. In 2023, we did have a little bit more than we had this year, but that was its initial program. So we went really up in that. We also, on the number 3 slide, you'll see that our submissions averages are registered with an average of 96%. That's our LOARs that come through the college, with an approval rating after we send them to Laurel, and that's a great number. We actually do quite well in the known world as far as our submissions acceptances. Our submissions are $8 each. $4 is paid to the Sovereign Laurel to register your arms each. $4 is kept in the kingdom to fund expenses of the College of Scribes for award scrolls and things like that. Anything that the College of Heralds needs for its administrative is pulled from that as well. And any excess after those payments reverts to the kingdom to help cover kingdom expenses. One of the things that the College of Heralds prides itself on is being able to be a revenue source to pay for ourselves and not be a burden on the kingdom, if at all possible. And we have always done a very good job at that. And I am hoping that we can stay strong and continue to help support our kingdom as we go forward. Next slide, please. We are looking forward to excellence in 2025. I know we all are, but we are hitting the ground running. We have virtual known heraldic and scribal symposium. It's happening spend a Saturday, a Sunday hooking up with the rest of the in the known world, please go on the event site for the SCA and sign up for that. It's going to be a great time. If you are a herald, there are classes for heralds as well, like submissions heralds has a time, and principles and signants and stuff like that. So we are going to offer more support and classes for mid-level and high-level heraldry at events and online. We are amping up our educational process, and not so much to educate everybody, because I think everybody's already pretty educated and pretty savvy, but we're going to empower you. We want to see everyone that has an office in the College of Heralds shine and be the very best that they can be. When you wake up in the morning, I want you to be proud that you walk this dream and that you are part of the SCA. We have more ways for you to learn and excel as a herald at large, and you can choose your learning style and go forward from there. We are looking at having the Heraldic Gazette to be published again. I believe our border is taking lead on that, and that Gazette will probably start being published around March or May. And that's going to be exciting, because it will be a place where you can go and find out any of the new and good news that you need to know about heraldry. And we have some surprises in the submissions process that we're working on in the upcoming year. I hope that we will be able to bring that to you at the next roundtable. All heraldry offices are in need of deputies. So if you ever wanted to know anything about an office, this is a no experience required thing when you become a deputy. You just sign up and then you get to learn it. And if you don't like it, it's okay. You don't have to like it. You can find something else. But if you ever wanted to just try it and see what it's all about, contact your local herald and become a deputy. It's really very important. I hope every one of you have had a great start to your 2025. I know I have, and I look forward to just seeing what everybody can bring to the table. Just remember, be good to yourself, be good to your friends, love your family.
And that puts me next. Greetings, Kingdom. We are having a very fun and cold start to our 2025. I just want to start out with saying that everything in my office is good and getting better. I want to give a shout out and thank you to all of my deputies. We are working on a lot of things right now in the reporting world, so we can do some tracking of numbers and help build our marshal community. We've had some officer changeovers recently, and we'll have more announcing soon. We're definitely working on some new ways of reporting to make it easier to find trends in our community, so we can better facilitate growth and provide everyone with what they need to enjoy their chosen activities. We can go to the next slide. So as of the end of the year 2024, this is what our participation for authorized combatants in each of our fields look like. And on the armored field, we have 387 authorized combatants, 320 rapier, 95 in cut and thrust, 55 in siege. Youth armored is 9, and youth rapier is 7, and equestrian is 15. I know that we have more youth combatants than that, and it was discussed today for the AMP system on getting our youth involved in that. So please reach out if you have any questions there. Can we go to the next slide, please? So this is who we have for marshals. On the marshals, I have 157 armored marshals, 167 rapier, 17 siege, youth armored 17, youth rapier 19, equestrian 3, target archery 82, and thrown weapons 93. I'm very grateful for everybody who is a marshal. I do expect to see these numbers grow as more people are wanting to become authorized to help. I had questions today on non-combatants becoming marshals on the field, which is always welcome and acceptable. I know we're very excited with the new A&P system and what it's providing, and the work that they've put in. I'm sure many of you have seen it, and very much look forward to what it's going to do in the future as far as what we're going to be able to do with reporting and tracking numbers for each of our martial aid activities. And so that's very, very exciting. And with that, I know we have Gulf Wars coming up, and that's where if you are not authorized as a field marshal and would like to help on any of the fields at Gulf Wars, please let me know. Because Ansteorra will be responsible for Tuesday's marshaling at Gulf Wars. And that is pretty much what I have for the day. I thank you guys greatly, and stay warm.
My mouse took the opportunity to power down on me just when I needed to go with live on speaking. And I'm not a big slideshow person, so I'm just going to give you my statistics, basically what I have to say. We are, as a kingdom, we're doing really well. Our current paid membership is at 1,374. The central region is showing at 324. The southern is showing at 553, and Denham is at 444. On reporting for the Seneschalate, we had a 97% on-time reporting rate over the year. So I would say we're doing outstanding on getting the reports in and getting the good information. Like our Chatelaine said earlier, our information is only as good as what's being reported. And it's kind of interesting to see on demos. We had 42 demos in the kingdom last year. Of that, 18 were held by Southern region, 16 in Denham, and 8 in the central region. So it's kind of interesting to see the growth and retention of newcomers in the central region with the low number of demos that were reported. So it's really interesting to see how the data aligns and doesn't align. We had 2 new regional seneschals, Master Elric in Denham and Dame Nick Hayes for Southern region. And then we have a new new media liaison deputy, and that's Signe. And we have our DEIB minister is going to be stepping down in June. And she has announced her replacement, or we've decided on who her replacement's going to be, and that's going to be Mistress Sorsha McCullough. And they're going to work together over the next 6 months, and I look forward to seeing what they do together. Really, that's all my statistics that I pulled together. Now, next slide. We do have things that the kingdom could use your help on. So we have a lot of events open for bids, for kingdom bids right now. And if you want to know which ones those are, or how to submit a bid, or what makes a good bid, we have a deputy for that. Next slide. And that would be Sylvana Corwin at the events at seneschal.ansteorra.org. If you want to put in a bid and you are not sure what it would take to make a successful bid or what would make a successful event, contact her and she can help you find what's needed in a site to match that event and to help you put together the bid as far as what the criteria are. And we also have, next slide, a lot of offices open across several different areas. There's Marshalate, there's Seneschalate, there's Exchequer, and there are always heraldry positions available. And if you are interested in those offices, next slide. Which ones we have, how do you apply, and what does it require? We have a deputy for that as well. And that would be Miran Ingen-Cherned, I can never say her name, at oac@seneschal.ansteorra.org. And if you email her, she will get you all the information that goes into what the office requires. And I'm sure she can put you in touch with the officers that are over those offices as well if you want more information than she has available. But the kingdom needs the support of its populace to continue thriving and growing. So please consider what you can do to fill the needs of the offices that are available and look at events that you might be able to put in a bid for. That is it for me. I like being brief.
We can hear you fine on our meeting. Can everybody on a live stream hear us on the meeting, or is it just OSA? Mm.
Koge suggested maybe it's because we have presentation audio turned on. All right, there you go, Koge. We do hear you fine on the meeting, just not. Okay. Please everyone do bear with us real quickly as we sort this out. Yeah, it looks like they're saying yes.
Yeah, Osa Etienne's got it on his phone and he can't hear you still. So
stage and see if that does anything. Ugh.
we can hear you now.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's busy way. Okay.
Or at least I heard you out of Etienne's phone in the next room. So
Osa, can you start talking?
so when you went on full screen, sound came out. Should be all good now.
Also, I think we might just have to go ahead and finish up and maybe hit that one after. And we might have to come back and add it back onto the video. Yep, give it a try. I think it's gonna be tough. There's a bit of a delay, I know. I think we're, yeah, let's just go ahead and I think kind of move forward. Maybe we should pause and go to the next speaker and come back on it.
Greetings, everybody. We have someone that is insisting on being in the meeting here with us. She wants to say hi. This is Sophie. We attended our meetings today. We have talked to our Vinheim officers earlier this week, and our main goal as our tenure as Cornet is to help out the groups that need to be helped out. Promote our officers in any way we can. Issue with award recommendations through the Vinheim calendar, our site, and that has been fabulous of Vinheim. And we are also working on getting some things done in the Herald's office to get things finalized so that we can get some awards done out and finalized so that we can maybe do the blank scrolled text so that it does not require one poor person or two poor people to hurry up and do a bunch of scroll text for awards. So we want to expedite that. We're also going to be asking for people to submit largesse or the regalia for some of the awards. We're going to make sure that the pictures get out, the colors get out, so that everybody knows what we're needing, because we would like to build up a base for our heirs so that they are not scrambling for awards. So thank you. We will be seeing everybody soon. Stay warm and have a good rest of your evening.
I believe it's your highnesses.
Margarita,
Yes,
would you like to go first?
I was waiting for her to pin our picture up there. I know Jason and I are separate, but separate places. His Highness and I would like to thank everyone that have been here to support us so far, and we look forward to working with their majesties and going forward until our reign does begin. I hope a lot of people are excited and getting ready to go to Gulf Wars, and we'll do whatever is necessary to fulfill the duties their majesties do give us in that area. We also be looking forward to going to Pinzik this summer to help if you are able to, because Jason and I both will be there. Jason?
Well, I have a few things. I would like to ask for some assistance from people wanting to support the chivalric community. I'm going to be doing a few things different at the King's Champion tournament at Coronation. One is I'm not going to be choosing my champion from a tournament. Instead, I would like to be hosted as a prize tournament. In the last handful of years, we haven't had a lot of the chivalry actually join the King's Champions tournament, and I would like that to change this time. I want as many participants in the King's Champion tournament as humanly possible. To that end, I would like to ask as many people in Ansteorra who would like to help donate prizes for the King's Champion tournament to make it a large, well-funded prize tournament. And I will be personally putting in quite a bit of awesome prizes for those who would like to enter. The second thing is in recent history, as you know, His Majesty JP, or John Paul, had a tremendous victory using what we would only describe as the Oops All Corners shield in Crown Tournament. To that end, I was also lucky enough to win with a very similar shield. So coming forth in in this current reign, after we step up, I would like help from the Ansteorran populace in designing a new shield with even more corners that I can use for my reign and through Pinzik. I would like to be used in single combat and melee, so have as much fun as possible designing it. Whoever comes with the coolest design, we will in fact build and I will use. That's what I got, guys. Thank you.
And His Highness and I will be putting out on the list, the Facebook list, all of our upcoming things with for our progress and our expectations. Or we want this to really be a fun reign, and we look forward to finishing out the rest with their majesties and having fun at Gulf Wars.
Absolute chaos.
Okay. Just give it a second for the slides to pop up.
Are you ready to follow that challenge?
It'll be a
from
challenge.
about the corners.
No. How many corners are too many corners, right? Are there too many corners?
How many corners make a circle?
Infinite.
Oh goodness. There's lots of things going on here.
You got it? Let's go.
Okay, yeah. So thank you everybody for attending roundtable today. I just want to say the Kingdom officers have pretty much hit it out of the park today with all of their reports. I have been very impressed, and I've been very pleased with all the good things that they've had to say about the Kingdom and how well the Kingdom is doing and what their plans are for the future. So hopefully we can live up to their standards and have an equally good report as well. JP?
Next slide, if you please. I think as someone may have mentioned earlier, you might be tired of hearing about AMP, but we are definitely not tired of talking about it. So we're going to hear about it a little bit more. We'll let you just kind of know we like numbers. We've always liked numbers. As Rambo say, have you met my friend JP? He likes math. So that's how it works. In the time since AMP stood up, we've received 467 awards. We've granted 157, and we've still 128 that are in some form of progress. I cannot put into words just how amazing the system has been and how great it is. And I would say it's probably still halfway where it needs to be. But it's amazing, and I believe that every crown in the Kingdom after us will appreciate all the work that's been done. Next slide. Wanted to share just a little background with you. I think it's a little bit hard to see, but this is kind of the timeline of what's been in the past. You know, there was back in last April when Their Majesty's Son and Antigone, Dr. Martin, and worked out with him and Alejandro some proof of concepts about the new one and put it in place. We started working on version 1 in July, brought it online and had it just barely available just for the last week right before Their Majesty stepped down. But we're able to inherit it and immediately started using it. We found some places where refinements could be done, and while we gallivant around on a boat, we had Martin and his coders in the dungeon working on making all the fixes for us. So we came back off the boat to even a better product, 1.1. And of course, we started adding fun names, 1.1 was royalty improvements. And today, version 1.2, warranting. It's been still one or two minor hiccups that we did today. For all those initials who got a email saying that you're released, that's not true. Get back to work. You're still all initials. It was just a problem with the system, mainly because there's a certain person who lacks patience and he clicked on a button he should not have clicked on too fast. Anyway, you should have then received another warrant in email. One of the things we're gonna love about this is that going forward, you're gonna know that you're the officer. You're gonna have the warrant, you have the email, and there's just the ability to have it look and like say, yep, this is me, I was here, I did this thing from this date. Next slide, please. Going forward, and we'll overlap there, we're gonna next work on the hierarchies and polling. For the hierarchies, it's good so we can do things like putting Brunel Service Awards into the AMP, and that we can put all the Ventime Awards in AMP. These things require a lot more work because they have to have more complex authorization for the awards. But eventually we'll get it so that they'll all be in there, and that all the award recommendations will go through that one system. And having used both the old spreadsheet and even the pre-spreadsheet version of the award recommendation process, it'll be so worth it. Finally, we're going to put a polling module there on the end. You notice it's kind of small there at the bottom. That's a stretch goal that we're hoping to hit. But I would say that even like after last night's Light of Merit, Star of Merit, Iris Merit meetings, that there's definitely a place for where we could maybe put things up for online pollings, and then we could then set up discussions afterwards to then talk about the people. It was a very positive meeting last night with those 3 orders, and I really appreciated their time and their energy on it. And I think adding the polling module on here will make that go even better in the future. Finally, version 1.4 over the summer, we have to kind of take some time, consolidate all the things we've done, make sure we have all the reports that we need to have, make sure we can know that everything is being done right. So that's the next part after it. We're going to continue working on these roadmaps, and we're going to continue developing these roadmaps go forward so we have the new versions going up with the features that the kingdom find the most valuable. We've already had a large number of good suggestions from the populace and users saying, we should do this, and I guarantee you, Martin and Crepin and everyone else in the AMP development team are taking those notes down and preparing them for the next builds, and we'll continue working to put the features that have the most value to the kingdom into the next builds. I think that's it for AMP.
Do you want to do the questions though?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, thank you very much. Oh, they can't do it in chat, they can only do it in the live stream, right? Okay, I'll tell you live. In the live stream later, or in the live stream right now, put 2 numbers in. The first number is the number of unique persons who received a warrant today, as in, they have at least 1 warrant. And then number 2 will be the number of warrants that were issued today. Those should not be the same, obviously, because some people actually hold more than 1 office. But put your best guess. Whoever gets closest, we're not going to do price right rules. Just whoever gets closest, we'll have a little gift for them next time we catch them. Next slide.
All right, next slide. There we go, officers. We held a one-on-one meeting with every grader officer just to get to know them, get to know their officer, their office, what it is that they do, talk to them about what they want to be able to do, talk to them about the problems they're having. And pretty much across the board, one of the biggest issues all of the officers mentioned was they felt unprepared for their office and what was expected of them. They did not feel that they had very much training in their office. So one of the things that we've started working on, a change that we've implemented, is if there is a greater officer within 4 months of their end of term, we've asked them to go ahead and open their office for applications. If they know even 6 months out, let's go ahead and open it up early. Let's get the office posted, have a chance for applications to come in, give us a chance to approve somebody, and then that new officer will have 3 to 4 months of training under the current Kingdom officer before they have to take over. So hopefully giving a longer training time and trying to plan their successor will give a better experience to our greater officers and our Kingdom officers moving forward. We've also invited every greater officer emergency replacement deputy to attend all meetings. Anytime that we're having a meeting with that great officer, we are more than happy for that ER deputy to attend so that they know what's going on in the office and can actually take over if something does happen and not have to spend months or be concerned about not knowing what's going on. We are also enforcing the requirement of Kingdom law that all of our greater officers send us a report. And I know that has caused some issues down the line of local officers having to report or having to report earlier than they usually do. And it is all our fault. We're trying to make sure that we understand what's going on in the Kingdom and that we are able to deal with any issues that arise before they become a big major problem. Next slide. Kingdom event bids. I know that Beatrix, our Kingdom Seneschal, mentioned this very briefly. We have a Kingdom events deputy, Silvana, who is working with us and the Kingdom Seneschal to move up the dates in the timeline of accepting bids for Kingdom events. We want to be able to have Kingdom events chosen up to a year before the actual event date happens. So that means we have a site, we have a contract, we know a year in advance that where that event is going to be. There's plenty of time to plan, and there's better opportunity to find sites early on rather than scramble for the last 2 months trying to find somewhere to have coronation so that we can actually have coronation and get it announced properly in the Black Star. We are looking at the requirements and preferences for those Kingdom events. I know we've spoken with our landed barons and baronesses about the requirements. We've spoken with the seneschals about what actually is required or should be required, and maybe changing some of the requirements to preferences in order to allow for more of the smaller groups or groups that have problems finding sites to be able to bid on events that may not have every single request from the event, but could still be a good site to hold a Kingdom event. There's also a new website put together by Colfina, the previous Kingdom web minister, to keep all of the resources for Kingdom events in one place. So it's linked off of the events calendar. If you haven't taken a look at it, take a look. All the information that you need to know about Kingdom events is there. If you have thoughts or opinions on any of these, please email us. Email the events deputy, the Kingdom Seneschal. Let us know how we can make this process better. JP, you're next. Next slide.
So we've been trying to follow the example of our forebears and seek feedback upon decisions that are important to the Kingdom. We sent out a survey about Crown Tournament, trying to ask people how important the officer requirement was, what value it created, and what do we think is important for people entering Crown Tournament. We got a lot of really good feedback, and we got a lot of very thoughtful feedback that we took and internalized. And when we made our decision to exclude that requirement and in change provide a test, it was based upon the feedback we got there. Everyone still felt the officer requirement was important. I would say like 75% of people think it should be kept, but most people also said that you should really be testing like what they know about the Kingdom and what they know about laws and rules of the society. So we decided to give that a shot and see how it goes. And after getting an exception from, or sorry, a variance from the Society Seneschal to make that kingdom law change, we did it, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not sure if it's the way we want to go, but we do appreciate the kingdom's spending the time to answer our questions and provide us feedback, and we did read and review all of the answers. Additionally, we recently put out an update for Larry Oria, and while we've got 65 responses, you can see per the chart, it's pretty overwhelming that everyone thinks that the change done for the disabled crane is a good one, and we should probably do the same for Larry Oria. Next slide. I forget, this one you or me, John?
I'll start and then you can do the next one.
Okay.
So as many of you know, Gulf Wars is big on our mind. As the people who will be crowned at Gulf Wars, we've been planning for it a lot. We've been working with the Treaty Kingdom Royals since July on war point schedule, the scenario descriptions, combat conventions, all sorts of things. We meet with them every other week, sometimes more than, sometimes every week. We have a Discord set up where we are constantly in contact with all of them. So just know that we have already put in many, many hours of work into Gulf Wars, and we haven't even gotten to the really fun stuff yet. So our Gulf Wars planning, obviously in progress and yet winding down, are the meetings. Securing allies. We have some allies. We're on other allies. We sent a survey out to the known world, not just us, but the other treaty kingdoms, sent it out to their kingdoms and across the known world about Gulf Wars, so that we would have some information to be able to change the schedule around by using actual data and not just, I feel like this is the way it's always been and this is the reason. We received 267 responses, and so that caused us to change up some of the schedules. We have submitted the war point schedule. We have submitted the scenario descriptions. We have updated some of the combat conventions, and we created a Gulf Wars muster form. I'm sure many of you have probably already clicked or taken a picture of that QR code. I'm going to flip over and see if we've gotten any responses yet. I figure somebody was going to be really, really fast on it. So this form is to collect information about people from Ansteorra going to Gulf Wars. We are going to use this information in our great big grand coif project. Many of you have probably heard about or seen pictures of all the Ansteorran coifs. As our gift to every populace member going to Gulf War, we are going to give you a Ansteorran coif. We have gotten the fabric. We've shipped some fabric out. A lot of the groups or local, households, individual people, a lot of people have offered to sew these coifs together for us, which we are immensely grateful for. There's going to be over 500 of them. There will be a lot of coifs. The plan is to put everybody's name on the coif who pre-registers and fills out the muster, which is why it's important that you go fill out the muster after you have pre-registered for Gulf Wars. The name that you put on the muster is the name that's going to go on your coif. So that way we can make sure that you get your coif. Also different at Gulf Wars, we are going to do a cookie extravaganza, cookie party, dessert party, whatever you want to call it. In lieu of chili night, we're going to do desserts. We will have some fancy cookies there that we buy from a bakery, but we're also asking everybody in the populace, if you want to make cookies or some other kind of dessert and bring to share, please do so. This is to get all of our populace together, having a good time, and what better way to do that other than eating desserts. If you want to make 2 batches of your grandma's recipe of cookies, or if you're like, no, I'm going all out, I'm going to make 62 dozen cookies, we will find somebody to eat your cookies, I promise you. somebody at Gulf War will eat your cookies. So we'll send out more information about that in the coming weeks as well. Next slide. JP.
So part of the feedback we got when we did the Gulf Wars survey was that most people actually were there by Sunday, and most people, about over 80% of them, were, even the Royals were on site by Sunday. So we talked with the Royal liaisons from last year. We looked at the Gulf Wars report from last year, and we basically saw that the bulk of the war showed up by Sunday. So we felt that it was better to move the opening war point onto Sunday to better utilize the time and to be mindful of the fact that people are there early. We did run into some problems with the equestrians, and the sense that the horses would not be able to be ready by that point in time. So we worked with them with a plan, and there's now going to be a grand procession on Wednesday with the Royals and the horses. But opening 4 points on Sunday will just be a walking thing. So we will walk, we'll do the announcement of stuff, and then we're also going to go straight into Champions Battle, because that's a neat way to start the war, and it'll be fun. So that's how we're doing that. We did also make a lot more war points, and it was really great, and we were all excited about it. I will tell you that as we were finishing the write-up of all those new war points, we definitely had some regret about that decision. So, but we're adding more equestrian, more points. We added more accept spear, we've added more throw missile, and we changed some of the other ones, and more youth and teen war points. So there's a lot of things going on, and we added a lot more to allow everyone to more contribute to the kingdom's success at Gulf Wars. Next slide. Okay, let's say just go ahead and start on talking about it.
There we go. So we did update. Actually, why don't you talk about the combat convention, then I'll do the test battle.
Okay, so most combat conventions stayed in line with what we did last year. We did allow a slightly larger shield on the rapier field, but that was really the big one. We went from 24-inch round to 30-inch round. Not a big change, but a decent one. And then you want to talk about the missile weapons?
So we tried to update the combat conventions to allow for more spears and to do rapier missile weapons, but there was a lot of feedback that the rest of the known world just isn't ready. So we, at your point, we are going to have a test scenario of the exact same thing with no more than 50 participants on each side. It's not for any war point scoring or anything. This is purely for experience and data gathering. And in these scenarios, we're going to allow all FDA legal rapier missile weapons, no limits on shield size, no limits on the number of spears. We're just going to play it out as it comes and see what happens. At the end of the Gulf Wars, all the fighters, all the marshals will have actual experience using these weapons, fighting against these weapons, marshaling and inspecting all of these weapons and all the ammo, so that next year a fact-based decision can be made on whether does the size of the spears impact, or the number of spears impact the size of the shields, or can people actually use a combat crossbow and rapier? All these questions that people have feelings about, but no actual data. By the end of Gulf Wars, we will have data so that we can make, the next Gulf Wars crowns can make good decisions based upon the information. I think that's it.
Okay, so we want to thank everyone for your attention and your time. I'm so very happy and pleased at the quality of the reports presented today, at the professional, superlative way that this whole event was handled. I just very, very pleased all from start to beginning. Thank you very much for everything you do, for all your time, all your energy and volunteer work. It's just really, really amazing and truly appreciated. Sebastian?
No, I absolutely agree. Standing ovation to all the greater officers. Not only have you put up with us for the last few months, but you proved it to the rest of the kingdom as well with your wonderful reports today. So, man, I can't ask for a better cadre of officers. Thank you very much.
Also, I believe it's time to close the meeting.